True Canadian Wendigo Stories. The Walker of the Snow. They had been out hunting moose north of Rat Portage, and after a long and fruitless day, were making their way back to camp through a desolate and benighted valley. "I say, Defarge, slow up, old man," the hunter said. "I'm knackered." He couldn't help but notice that Defarge was looking extremely uncomfortable, and, if he hadn't known better, he might have imagined the brawny guide was frightened. "Something wrong, old man?" "This valley ain't a good place to be in," he answered shortly. "Why, is there snow coming? A snow squall?" Maybe something worse. I'll tell you as we go, boss, but we have to make tracks. We can't let darkness catch us in this here valley." And so hunter and guide picked up the pace as Defarge spoke. It was December. I had been out on the trap lines and was trying to make it back to camp, but the snow was deep and I got behind time and come through this here valley round the midnight hour. It was an awful quiet place, too damn quiet, and I began to feel plumb lonesome, and something else I didn't understand. And so I decided to sing to cheer myself up, old Voyager songs like. It did cheer me up. After I'd been serenading the moon and stars a while, I realized I wasn't alone. There was a man standing in the trees beside the trail, sort of keeping up with me as I snowshoed along. I sang out to him, yelling for him to come and join me, but he didn't say nothing. I kept going along and he kept pace with me, but still he didn't say nothing. It took me funny, but then I began to get mad and started towards him, and then Defarge fell silent. "And then?" the hunter prompted. "It ain't good to talk about." "Damn it, man, don't leave me hanging like that." "Well, boss, you know me, You know I'm regular." Yes, man, do get on with it." I began wondering if someone meant to do me harm, and my hand went natural to my knife. I ain't scared of no man. But what if it weren't a man, "You mean like a grizzly, what?" "Boss, as if I wouldn't know a grizzly." "Then what are you driving at?" "Boss, have you ever heard tell of the Walker of the Snow?" What is that?" "Well, some call it the Walker of the Snow. Others call it the Phantom Hunter. The natives call him Windigo. He has a heart of ice and comes with the snow and takes men away." "Old wives' tales." Defarge stopped in his tracks and turned to look the hunter straight in the eye. "No, they ain't." The hunter was taken aback. After a moment he said, "Sorry, old man. Tell me what happened." "I had come up close to him," Defarge said as he turned to resume walking. "I'd come up close to him, but I couldn't make him out. He was all misty-like." "Insubstantial?" "I think that's right. Anyways, I couldn't see him proper, and I weren't sure he was a man. I made off at speed, but I be damned, but he kept up with me, as if he were my shadow, I kept throwing looks at him and watches what he does. And there was a moon that night, boss, Well, after a time, I noticed my pursuer. He don't leave no tracks in the snow behind him. No tracks at all. And he don't leave no shadow either. Like he ain't really there. Like he ain't human. I try to move faster, but I can't get away from him. The weather turns colder, really bloody cold, and the moon, he goes away as the night gets cloudy and darker, really pitch, and I can't see my companion so good no more. But I know he's still there, walking with me, and I think he's getting closer. A snow devil suddenly swirls up and hits me flush in the face, and then I was swallowed up in a blizzard, the snow coming down so hard I can't see me hand afore me. And then he was there afore me, and I gazed into his black eyes. So cold. So cold. And then I couldn't move and was drowned in snow. Dusk had fallen, as had the temperature, and it began to snow, lightly, just flurries. The men hurried on. I would have froze to death, sure, but a party had come looking for me and pulled me out of the drift where they found me. I was okay, but my hair and beard were like you see now. They had turned as white as the very snow. I never told anyone about what happened, just you, boss. But I had seen him. Windigo, or the Walker of the Snow, whatever yous want to call him. I had looked him in the very eye, and I ain't been myself since. He took something from me. Defarge is frightened, the hunter told himself, and he found he had unconsciously picked up his step, his stride matching that of his guide. It began to snow harder, much harder. Big, thick flakes, whipped up by a bitter wind. The temperature was still falling, and Hunter found he had to strain to keep up with his guide. I say, Defarge, how far are we from... Defarge? Defarge? It was a sudden and total whiteout. The hunter, blinded, reached out to make contact with the guide, but he wasn't there. Defarge? He was suddenly seized by a pair of rough hands, and suddenly found himself face to face with Defarge. It may have been the snow and the falling light, but the guide appeared changed, his demeanor radically altered, animalistic. Defarge's eyes were totally black, totally cold, and the hunter found he was drawn into them, drowning in them, just as he was being suffocated with snow. He took something from me, boss. Something, and I've been hungry ever since. Hungry. All the time hungry. And I gotta have meat. Meat! A philosophical question. Is a scream in the forest still a scream if nobody hears it? Nobody human, that is.